Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Danny Sanger Official, and to this brand new series that I've launched, which is Mindset Mastery. As the name suggests, Mindset Mastery is all about helping you achieve a mastered mindset, which will then support you and help you to experience more successful outcomes, which you will be then experiencing in your day-to-day activities. So how am I helping to achieve that? Well, it will be via these bite-sized chunks of episodes that I'll be releasing on a regular basis. The episodes will contain specific topics relating to a more empowered, successful mindset, including then some tips and techniques and tools which you can actually directly apply into those day-to-day activities, which are helping you to either overcome specific challenges or for you to achieve those goals that you're aspiring towards. So that's what the new series is all about. And today's maiden episode is going to cover a foundational topic around this space, which is to do with the process of self-discovery. Now, before we go into the episode itself, may I please remind you to please hit the subscribe button for the channel. And then alongside the subscribe button, you've got the notifications icon. If you also click on that, you'll then have the notifications for all the new episodes as and when they come live. Apart from that, without further ado, please enjoy today's episode. Okay, so self-discovery, what does that actually mean? Well, implicitly, as the name suggests, it's all about discovering one's self. So let me use an analogy here to help provide that message to you about self-discovery. So if you imagine, generally speaking, if you've got a car journey that you're planning, you'll have a destination in mind and you'll have effectively acknowledged where you're destined to go as part of that journey. You'll do the usual, punching that into your sat nav and then working out that route that basically means that you'll get to that destination. Now, that aside, one key core component of your journey is going to be the car that you are relying upon to get you to that destination. So what is effectively key for you to ensure you've got what will hopefully be every likelihood of a successful journey, as well as then a successful arrival at the destination itself, is to really understand and be confident with the car that you're relying upon to get you to that destination. So what does that mean specifically? So let's use some specific examples within this example, in that, let's say, for example, the journey is 1,000 miles. And what you know already about the car that you're reliant upon is that on a full tank of fuel, it will give you a range of around 400 miles. So quite quickly, you know that the car on one full tank will not get you to the destination. You will need to stop off and refuel. So what does that mean? It means that you'll immediately revisit the journey as it's been mapped out on your sat nav, and you'll look to tweak it if it needs to be tweaked. You'd check if that journey, as it's already been programmed, is going to include a fueling station, a petrol station, every 400 miles, ideally every 300 miles, to avoid you running out of fuel at any point along your journey. So that's one key fundamental element of your car that you want to have understood and know about to ensure that you don't encounter an issue such as running out of fuel along your journey. Another element where just a slight change in that sort of example would be, something about the journey itself, which then gives you the opportunity to check in and make some adaptations to the car if need be. So I'll use examples of tires. Let's say, for argument's sake, there's a part of the journey which is encountering certain road conditions, or the terrain of the road itself needs you to adapt your tires. The tires you've got right now won't be fit for purpose for a part of your journey. Maybe it's mountain sort of terrain or whatever it might be, off-road terrain. So you know quite quickly that either you make the upgrade right now to your car and get the more appropriate tires put on before you set out on your journey, or at least understand that somewhere along your journey, you'll need to stop off and perform that upgrade before you encounter those specific road conditions. So just some basic examples there about knowing your car, knowing it as inside out as you possibly can, and being completely confident then in being able to rely upon it to take you through the journey that you need to go through to arrive ultimately to that destination that you wish to get at. So let's bring that example back into real terms now, and in terms of mindset mastery. So there's that process of getting to know yourself better. And that's not just understanding your strengths, it's also understanding your weaknesses or limitations, a little bit like the car example, where we've got tires which ordinarily would be fine, but given the specifics of the journey, they need to be modified and adapted. And in fact, they are actually a weakness in essence for that specific journey. Then in a similar way, when we look at our own weaknesses in certain scenarios, we can then look at ways to modify and improve upon those weaknesses, whether that's just a temporary measure of adapting ourselves to suit the environment or the situation that requires us to do that, so that we can actually achieve that outcome that we wish to achieve, i.e., get to that destination that we need to get to. Or it's a case of looking at ways of making more permanent and lasting changes to ourselves, which help us to become more flexible and adaptable to whatever situations may be thrown at us along our journey. So that's in principle the concept of self-discovery. Get to understand yourself better, know where your strengths lie, understand your weaknesses. And there's a saying we hopefully all have heard in the past, where you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies closer. So in that sort of framework, what we're looking at here is you keep your strengths close, absolutely, because then you know what you can rely upon that you've already got to hand. And you keep your weaknesses that much closer, so that you've got that opportunity to improve, to be able to succeed where you might not otherwise have been able to succeed, or to open up new avenues, new opportunities, goals which you can then aspire towards, which you otherwise may not have thought to be able to aspire towards. So that is the concept of self-discovery, and how important it really is to adopt this process and go through that journey of reflection and understanding. I do this through the programs that I provide. It's a core foundational element within the program. One key aspect of that is to go through a psychometrics test, which I provide as part and parcel of the earlier stages of my programs. And what that essentially does is it gives you that understanding of what your current psychometric profile looks like. It completely opens your eyes to then understanding where those existing strengths can help you to take advantage of certain scenarios and opportunities out there. But it also gives you that insight as to where maybe in the past certain examples or scenarios that have played out haven't gone so well, because of that disconnect between your profile and maybe somebody else's profile that you've been trying to work with. And suddenly you've unraveled that the disconnect has been this mismatch. And in hindsight, you could have adapted yourself to suit the other person's profile. You could have worked on what would have otherwise been a weakness area of yours, but worked on that to improve that communication between the two of you and got a more successful outcome. Or at least going forwards, any future similar scenarios, you can then work on those weaknesses or limitations and look for those opportunities to actually then apply and achieve more successful outcomes going forwards. So that's all I'm going to leave with you for now as part of these bite-sized chunks. I hope that's been useful. What I do also hope is that you would share this knowledge with anyone else around you. it can be incorporated immediately into your day-to-day lives, and for you to then experience better outcomes than you might otherwise have been experiencing to date. There might be specific challenges that up until now you've just not managed to be able to undo or overcome, or there might be particular goals that along the way you seem to struggle to achieve, or the journey seems to be that much more difficult than it needs to be. And hopefully this sort of knowledge share will actually overcome those challenges during the journey itself, or otherwise help you to actually get to that destination. I hope that's again been useful. Please do share with anyone else, and I will leave that there for now until the next episode. Thank you very much.